hit that like and subscribe button. And we always love feedback, so leave a comment. Now, back to your regular scheduled program.
Yo, what's going on, guys? It's your host, Jackie Chism, back again with another episode of the Chism Sports Groove. That's the CSG, if you didn't know. And we got a great show for you today. It's episode 19. I know it won't let you down today. We're definitely going to talk about the Rams and the Cardinals, a recap of that game. Then we got the Bengals coming to Tennessee. Titans time. We're definitely going to talk about that matchup more in depth. Then we got Vegas, baby. We're going to give our locks, chances, and wild cards for the divisional round. And we got some NBA primetime games as well to go over. We got hot news and not news today. And I'm going to go over my final thoughts as well at the end of it. So stay tuned. Hey, it's the CSG, guys. Let's get it. Welcome back, guys. Man, I just want to start by talking about these Rams and Cardinals game. It wasn't even close. Like, I thought that the Cardinals had a good chance in this one. I'm guessing that the omen that I was talking about in the last episode was in reverse. For a away team to go to the venue where the Super Bowl is held, just seems like there was just some dumb, fluky shit that was just happening all the time. And I just don't think that, like, the Cardinals played anywhere close to what we seen at the beginning of the year or in, like, stretches down the season when they played against Dallas or how they played against the Packers even in a loss. Like, they just did not look like a good team. Kyler Murray definitely looked like a rookie in that. Like, I mean, just it was bad and just went straight to worse with a flip of a switch. I mean, it was more than, like, in more plays than just that pick six that he had. I mean, you just seen that he just was not comfortable the entire game. He did not get out of the pocket a lot. He did not use his feet. I mean, coverage was sticky. Pass rush was all on him. I mean, there was no running game as usual that they can consistently use. I mean, it just was a bad output overall from the Cardinals on an offensive standpoint. And from a defensive standpoint, Matt Stafford had his way that game. You would think that they would have tried to put more pressure on Stafford to force more turnovers and have him force the ball, but he didn't need to. I mean, they definitely did a good job of locking down Cooper Kupp in that one for the majority of the game, but OBJ, behave. Like, thank you for showing up just to shut people up in Cleveland that you were the issue with Baker Mayfield. Never. Hey, the man's still talented. He's only 29 years old. Like, he is just past his 10-year graduation, 10-year reunion from his graduation from high school. Like, he's got a lot left in the tank, I feel like, and he showed in that game. I think that him and Cooper Kupp are a definite good 1-2 punch, and there was nothing that the Cardinals had to stop them. The pass rush wasn't getting home all day. They don't have much up front in the middle to stop the running game. Cam Akers is probably the comeback story of the year. I mean, like, for him to have torn his Achilles in July, and 5 months later, he is a productive running back on a team that's trying to make it to the Super Bowl, is more than astounding. That's ridiculous in itself. Shout out to you, Cam, and your doctor to begin with. Shit, man, he looked good in that one. And I only have, like, high aspirations going forward for the Rams after seeing that. The Cardinals, on the other hand, man, they're gonna have a bad first round pick. They're gonna be late in some rounds because of their playoff push. They had a really good regular season to start, but they fizzled out the end, and you would think that they're going to need some players to step up on, especially on defense, to come in and help that team make a push next year for the Super Bowl. They definitely need to start with the middle. Like their run defense is atrocious. They're going to have to find some big boys in the middle there that can, put some pressure on the running game and push the pocket in the inside. I don't think that they're going to re-sign Chandler Jones. There's no way that he's going to stay. I think that he's going to get a lot of money from somebody else, or he's going to be in a situation where he can go to a Super Bowl team that just missing like a pass rusher, that he can step in and be that guy on third downs and still get paid pretty well too. I mean, they got some secondary holes that they definitely need to cover up. I don't know if Byron Murphy Jr. is the number one cornerback, so that's definitely something they can address. I like Budda Baker. I hope he's healthy. I hope he gets better after being carted off in that game. But they definitely have some pieces. I don't know if Isaiah Simmons is working out for them and what they want to use, because he's just a crazy athletic freak that you can put anywhere. But you have to figure out what he's good at and what he's not good at. So they just have a lot of pieces that they can use. I mean, I feel like they're a couple pieces away. Look for them to add to that running game. Look for them to add to their offensive line and their defensive line. But I think if they don't address that secondary, there's nothing that we can say right now, because I just don't know if Kyler's going to be able to keep up with the points that's being able to put up in the NFC. So we're going to leave it there, and just when we come back, it's definitely going to be, we're going to jump right into Titans time. I can't wait. We got the Bengals. Can't wait for Titans time. Stay tuned, guys.
Hit that like and subscribe button, and we always love feedback, so leave a comment. Now, back to your regular scheduled program.
Yo, what's going on, guys? Welcome back, man. It's Titans time. This is the segment where me, the lifelong Titans fan, goes over some of the week-to-week things that the Titans are going through, especially right now during this playoff rush. I'm so excited. Man, we finally get another game. Don't get to play a game and see what we are actually capable of doing. It's gotta be a Super Bowl team, especially with all the adversity that we've faced. And to have like the number one seed and a week off, get Derrick Henry back. He looked good in practice. It's amazing time for Titans fans. So shout out to the rest of my Titans fans. Tighten up right now. Man, we got the number 4 Bengals coming off their win against the Las Vegas Raiders coming up. Man, we played them last year, and I think we definitely got some get back to get. I mean, new defense, who this, right? We got they were able to march up and down the field, especially on third downs last year against us. But we had we had the worst third down defense in the history of the NFL since they've been tracking the stat. I think that we're definitely going to come with different smoke this year. Got to. We have to. We've gone through so much to get to this point, and to see them coming into our house, man, we got to show out. Especially want to give a big up to all the Titans fans that's going to be at the game, man. Please be loud. Please be as crazy as you can be, especially when Joe Burrow is trying to make his calls, man. Because we definitely got more. We got to show out for a home team, but we also got to shut some people up about how our fandom is. I mean, there's so many really good Titan shows out here on YouTube that show how deeply entrenched Titans fandom is across the country. Man, there's just Titans fans and collectives in California. There's a huge swatch of fans here in Nashville. I mean, I've talked to fans in London. I've talked to fans in Canada. Shout out TD Barrett. Man, like Klay Thompson's a fan. We got our fandom runs so deep because of our style of play and how long we've been doing it. Like, don't tell nobody. But Dawson Knox, who's the starting tight end for the Bills, grew up in Nashville. He grew up a lifelong Titans fan himself. I mean, we have like a great fan base, not just including because I'm in it myself, but like just like when I go to games and when I see the amount of support that the team gets, man, like it's uncanny. I'm glad to be a part of it myself. I want to jump right into some key matchups for this game, and I think that we definitely need to watch out for. On defense, we definitely need to watch out for how our defensive line going up against their offensive line. I'm sorry. I just feel like the pass rush and our running game from just using 4 people has to be on point in this game. We have to be able to stop Joe Mixon in that running game and make them one-dimensional. Once we do, we can pin the ears back with Bud Dupree and Harold Landry, Big Jeff, our really good defensive tackles, Naquan Jones and Tier Tart, and we can just come after you with 4 guys. And I don't think that their offensive line is capable of stopping our front 4, no matter how many stunts that they try to pull. They try to pull stunts on us. So, I mean, that's definitely the first one I wanted to make sure on defense that we watch out for. Because if they're able to get some push and Joe Mixon's able to get some yards and and have some success in the running game, they're able to do a lot more on offense, which we do not want them to get comfortable. Next, I definitely want to talk about is our middle linebackers and safeties versus the tight end. Like, I think that CJ Uzama is a really good tight end. He's really underrated, but we're definitely going to have all eyes on those wide receivers. And if we're not able to slow down the tight end, I think that they're going to be able to extend drives. They're going to be able to have some big plays that they're going to draw up in the middle of the field, trying to keep us in the Tampa 2 type look. So if we're able to lock down on that tight end, I think that we're going to have some really good success, especially if we can stop the running game as well. Next, I definitely want to talk about is Kevin Byard and David Long versus Joe Burrow himself. Like, those two are our captains on defense, I feel like, minus Big Jeff, minus Harold Landry. But just in the back end, in the coverage schemes and things, those are the guys who are like dog 1 and dog 2. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, those are top dogs on our teams. And those are the ones that are going to be watching his eyes the most to make plays. Like, if we can get him to, you know what I'm saying, to telegraph a couple of things and make a couple of plays, especially with those two and the high level that they can play at, like, this is going to be a long day for Cincinnati. All right, on offense, I definitely wanted to talk about the matchup of our offensive line versus their D-line. They've had a lot of injuries up front. Larry Ogunjobi will not play in this game. He was on IR for the rest of the season after being carted off last game. Mike Daniels, another defensive tackle, is also banged up with a groin injury. He didn't play after the first drive last week. So look for him to be limited in what he can do in that game. But then also Trey Hendricks, who's their best pass rusher, is also like coming back off concussion protocols, and that was a big hit that he took last week. I mean, it's a lot to ask for again to get somebody back in a week from a concussion. If you ever had one, you know that it lingers. It definitely lingers. So you never know what you're gonna get out of their defensive line, but our offensive line has to get push up front. If we can win up front all game, like it's gonna be a long day. We're gonna play Titans football, and that's where it all starts from there. If we can get those guys up front to get a good push and win, and create holes for Derek and for Foreman and Hilliard, we're gonna have like. It's gonna have like ultimate success going out. Our offense is gonna look as good as it can ever be, but it all starts again up front. Next, we definitely have to have some wins from AJ and Julio against their DBs. I feel like Cincinnati has to sell out on a run, so there are going to be too many one-on-one opportunities for AJ and Julio, and I'll wait if you want to name me a cornerback for the Cincinnati Bengals that can stop Julio or AJ. Yeah, I don't think there's one. So if they can win those coverages, like it's again, they're just going to open up more in the running game. We can control the clock. We can keep ourselves in first down, like keep ourselves out of first downs. Out of like bad third downs, and just run over them. Then the last matchup that I want to definitely talk about is Tannehill versus himself. Like he definitely needs to make sure that he's not his own way, that he can make sure that he's calling out protections correctly before the snap, make sure that he's seeing underneath coverages, because that could be the difference in this game. A couple of turnovers could swing momentum out of our favor or in our favor if we're able to get them inversely. So giving up penalties and turnovers is going to be a key for us in this game. I think that Tannehill is going to be at the helm for this one. If he's able to call a great game, like coverage-wise, protection-wise, then we're going to have some serious success in this one. All right. Some keys in this game that we definitely want to look at in this one is we have to stop the deep passes, man. We definitely cannot give up big plays to this offense. There's no way that we can recover from like quick drives from the Bengals, because even though we do have Julio, AJ who have and Derek who have those big play potentials, you don't want to rely on that all game because our defense has had some lapses out. You definitely want to make sure that we're keeping them one-dimensional as well. But if we can stop the run and just focus on the pass, we can definitely keep our pass rushers loose and aggressive coming after him. Come after Joe Burrow, who's definitely taking the most sacks all season behind that offensive line, and the pressure has to be able to be there. But if they're able to run the ball, they're going to slow down our pass rush some. And you never want to have multiple things you're looking at in the play. Just go after him if you can. Stop the run when we need to stop the run. All right, last one that we definitely want to talk about is our discipline. We definitely got to play with discipline in this one. I feel like the Cincinnati Bengals are going to have some really bad penalties. They're going to give up some drives and give up some ground to us. We cannot give it back. We cannot have some lapse in defenses that give up big plays. We cannot have turnovers on offense, like fumbles and just missed routes that lead to turnovers, interceptions. It's got to be a clean game from us. We have to play with discipline. We had 2 weeks to practice and get ready for this, so definitely show up. I got 3 predictions that I think that are going to be huge for this game. I think they're going to come through. I definitely believe that the Titans are going to run for more than 200 yards in this game. For us to have success and to control the clock and control the game the way we want to, it's going to have to happen. We're going to have to continue. You have to run the ball 40 times in this one. Look for them to definitely attempt that. Get the game going, get the game off early with a bunch of run, a lot of heavy sets that we can see, because we want to keep them in their base defenses. So I think that we're going to definitely come out in some heavy formations, and we're going to run it right down their throat, see what they got. Next, I definitely think that the big three, that's Derrick Henry, Julio Jones, and A.J. Brown, are all going to have touchdowns in this game. Like, I just don't see who can stop Derrick Henry after having that much layoff and that much rest, fresh legs at the 1 yard line or within the 5 yard line, to be honest with you. Nobody can stop him within the 5 yard line, and I think that that's an easy call for a touchdown for Derrick. I think that AJ and Julio are going to definitely win those one-on-one matchups. So I definitely think that they're going to both get in the end zone at some point. It's going to be amazing to see. My final prediction for the game is I got the Titans winning this one 24-20. I really think that it's going to be a really good game. I think Cincinnati is going to have like a chance to keep it as close as they can, but I just don't see how Tennessee is going to let up once they hit them in the mouth. Come on, Titans. Titans fan again, I need y'all to tighten up as hard as you can. I'm so excited for this game. Let's get to it. We got one and we're in the AFC Championship game. Don't look over the Bengals. They are a really good team. Again, I can't wait to see it. All right, guys. When I come back, we're going to go right into Vegas, baby. Stay tuned.
Hit that like and subscribe button. And we always love feedback, so leave a comment. Now, back to your regular scheduled program.
Vegas, baby, Vegas!
What's going on, guys? It's Vegas, baby. This is a segment where we give our locks, chances, and wild cards, and then we go over the good, the bad, and the ugly for anything we betted on. I want to jump right into it, man. It's the divisional rounds in the NFL. Oh man, I already gave who I thought the Titans. I already told you the Titans were gonna win earlier in Titans time. So let's get into these other games, man. My one lock for this week definitely is the Packers over the San Francisco 49ers. It's a 5.5 point spread. I think it's a 2 touchdown game. So there's no way Jimmy G is just gonna rock out as hard as he did last week. I think he showed more Jimmy G at the end of that game, making it a game when it wasn't. I don't think that you can give that many. You can play the way that they're played and score 23 points and win a game against Aaron Rodgers and that high vaulted offense. So it's gonna be over with quickly. I don't even know if I really want to watch it, but I'm going to. Next, I want to give my chances for this week, and I'm just going to take a chance on Kansas City over the Bills. I know they're a 1.5 point underdog at this point, but I think that they're going to at least be a 3-point game coming down to the last field goal. Whoever gets the ball last in this game, I think is going to win if there's no stupid turnovers from either team. Pat Mahomes has played out of his mind at some point in this game, at some points in this season, and he's also played very underwhelming at some points in this season. So if he can come out and play like he did in the second quarter, third quarter against the Steelers, it's a game over. It's a wrap. But I wouldn't also count out Josh Allen. I also don't like to bet on Josh Allen because I feel like he still does some dumb things trying to force it at the end. There's some fumbles, there's some interceptions that he think that he can get in. He's just doing too much to make a play at the end of the game. So I'm gonna go with Kansas City only because I think that Pat Mahomes and Andy Reid, the enemy, and that offense are not going to cough up the ball even though the number 1 defense is coming into town. Last but not least, I want to take a wild card pick on the Rams over the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I mean, both of them played really good last week. They both showed out when they needed to. Tampa Bay just has so many injuries. Like, for them to miss their right tackle and Aaron Donald and Von Miller coming into town, I don't like it. I just don't like the matchup. I do like Jalen Ramsey on Mike Evans, and I just don't know if they have enough to help him out. Leonard Fournette's coming back off a hamstring injury, and those things do linger. It's up in the air if he's going to be healthy throughout the rest of the game. But if they have any shot, they're gonna definitely need him. I just think that the Rams, if they can not make the stupid turnovers and not forcing the ball down the field like they usually do, like they have in the end of the season, they're going to have a great chance in this one. I think that there's going to be not that many turnovers. I'm not thinking that there's going to be turnovers in this game. I think there's going to be a penalty-light game. So watch for whoever has the ball last again to win that one. And I think that the Rams are going to have the ball last and that they're going to win that one. All right, guys, let's jump right into these NBA primetime games. All right, let's start off with Friday night games. We got the Bulls traveling to Milwaukee to play the Bucks. Whew, I don't know. That's a good one, man. Like, the Bulls have gone through so many injuries and have gone through so much turmoil the last few weeks. It's just hard to say. The Bucks have played consistent. They may not be the best team in the league, but they're one of the best teams in the league, and they come out and play with it like that every time. This could be a hot one for them, man, but I'm not sure if Zach LaVine's coming back healthy in this one. I just still don't think that they have enough for Giannis at this point in the season. I think later in the season they will have their number, but in this one, I'm going with the Bucks. Next, we got the Nets traveling to San Antonio to play the Spurs. There's no KD in this one, so it can be up in the air. It depends on how James is playing at that game. I do believe it's in Texas, so Kyrie should be able to play in that one. I'm gonna go with the Nets only because Kyrie's there. If Kyrie's not able to play, especially during this stretch, while KD's out, I'm really not going to bet too much on the depth of the Nets and James Harden. So, but hey, shout out if you got them, play them. All right, moving over to Saturday, we got the Oklahoma City Thunder traveling to Cleveland to play the Cavaliers. And I don't know. I just don't know why the Thunder got primetime games. They're in a true rebuilding situation. I know Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is a beast. He's a great young player. He should be playing somewhere trying to win a chip, but he's stuck there in OKC with a rebuild that's going to take a while. I don't trust them to play in a betting line right now. Giving them a couple of years, maybe they can turn those couple picks into some really good players. But until then, as long as Cavaliers are playing really well, Darius Garland, who's a Brentwood native outside of Nashville, man, he's playing out his mind. I'm gonna keep with the Cavs. I think that they're a top 5 team in the East right now. As long as they can stay healthy. All right, next we got the Pacers and the Suns, and I would just instantly jump on the Suns, and which I still think I'm going to go with the Suns in this one, but it's without hesitation because the Pacers, I think they're putting it together. They have a really good starting 5, and TJ Warren's not played a game yet this year. I think they're actually putting it together. They have some really good young pieces. Sabonis is really good. He should be an all-star. Miles Turner is a former all-star, a Team USA player. Chris Duarte is coming up on his own. Malcolm Brogdon's coming back now, healthy. Is starting to get some more playing time. He's still on a minute restriction, but he's playing well. And they've beaten some really good teams. They beat the Lakers. They did beat which is not saying a lot, but they still beat them in a decent fashion. They did just beat the Warriors, so that's not a team that you can just sneeze at right now. I like what they're doing. I like Rick Carlisle as a coach. He's a very good trainer, teacher, and it looks like they're really progressing up young players, man. So shout out to him. Karis LeVert can get hot any day. So I'm still gonna go with the Suns. I mean, but watch out though. It could be a close one. All right, just moving over to Sunday. We got the Lakers traveling to Miami to play the Heat. LeBron's going back to Miami for a loss. I mean, the Heat are playing really well right now. Jimmy Butler has come back in roaring fashion. Those snipers they got in Tyler Hero and Duncan Robinson are playing even better than they've ever thought we were going to see them play at this early in their careers. Man, so I just don't see how the Lakers' lack of defense is going to keep up with what the Miami Heat can put on the board. All right, last game is we got the Jazz traveling to Golden State to play the Warriors. I don't know. The Warriors are just going through some real problems right now with injuries. I mean, Steph Curry's in and out of the lineup. I know he came back, but I mean, still, like missing Draymond is key for them. And for him to again, we had in the hot news and not news segment earlier episode. That's gonna be devastating, man. He's their defensive leader, and he's an X factor that you cannot take in consideration. You cannot mathematically quantify. You have to take that in consideration. He's a difference maker on that team. I think he's definitely the heart and soul of that team. And for him to be out, you just got a bunch of young guys running around with Steph Curry and Klay Thompson. So, I mean, I like that team. I mean, I like what they put together down there. I think they're still very, very young, and they need Draymond back. But the Jazz are the regular season team, man. They're just Donovan Mitchell is nothing to play with. Rudy Gobert is a defensive nightmare, and they have shooting galore around that team. Jordan Clarkson's probably the sixth man of the year again, looking already. So I mean, it's a good team. I'm just gonna go with the Jazz. I would not pick the Jazz in a series, but I would pick them in the regular season game, though. All right, guys. When I come back, we're gonna jump right into hot news, not news. Stay tuned, guys.
Hit that like and subscribe button, and we always love feedback, so leave a comment. Now, back to your regular scheduled program.
What?
Yo, what's going on, guys? Back again with another edition of Hot News and Not News. This is the segment where we talk about the latest topics in the world of sports, and we decide if it's hot news, we definitely gonna stop and talk about it a little bit more, and if it's not news, we're gonna tell you why and keep it pushing. I want to jump right into the news, some of this news today, and I'm gonna start with DeMarcus Cousins hitting the news, man. He signed a 10-day contract to join the Denver Nuggets. They definitely need some big man presence other than Jokic, and you can just see that DeMarcus Cousins definitely has a lot left to give. Now, do I think that this is news? No, because I don't see how DeMarcus Cousins is going to add enough value to the Nuggets to push them, you know what I'm saying, into the topper echelons of teams. I feel that the Nuggets are a playoff team. I think they're probably around the 5th or 6th best team in the league right about now, and adding DeMarcus Cousins on a 10-day contract still probably makes you about the 5th or 6th team. Now, if they're able to get Michael Porter Jr. back or Murray back, then we're talking a different story. That's definitely news. But getting DeMarcus Cousins after being cut by the Bucks, which I thought was going to be a good fit for him, it's not really news to me. It doesn't help them in their playoff push or give them a significant upgrade over anybody that they have right now. All right, the next topic that I want to jump right on into is Mel Kiper has finally released his first mock draft for the next season, for this upcoming draft. And do I think that this is news? No. It's going to change 1,000,001 times. The playoffs hasn't even ended. Coaches have not been hired yet. So for him to put out a mock draft this early, and while the playoffs are still rolling, while coaching staffs are still being interviewed, it makes no sense, to be honest with you. I mean, it just shows really that he's pretty irrelevant until draft season, and they're gonna rush him back in draft season as fast as they can, even if the NFL season is still undergoing. Plus, who is Mel Kiper Jr., right? All right, the next topic I definitely want to talk about is Kevin Ollie, the former coach of the UConn Huskies college basketball team, was ruled in favor. An arbitrator ruled in his favor that he was improperly fired by UConn. And do I think that this is news? Yes. Yes, I definitely think this is news, because the way coaches move around so freely and easily when they have success at lower level schools and move to the bigger schools or move to the pros, it's kind of unfair, because like college students can't. But if you have a guy who's there and working with the program, he's had success within that program as well, taking over for a long-term coach, Jim Calhoun. I think that you owe it to somebody who's been loyal to you at that point. Like, the problem was that coaches move around so freely, so easily, with no regard for the situations that they have set up at a place. But for you to like just diss a man when apparently you're not supposed to, like, that's definitely news. And I think that there's news that there was arbitration, and that the arbitration was filed upon his side. Like, that's great for the coaches that actually do stay and actually do build programs and relationships with people, like Kevin Ollie. That's not what booster clubs want, though. They want coaches that can win, even if they're like a scumbag like Urban Meyer. All right, my last story and not least, we gotta definitely talk about Russell Westbrook being benched against the Indiana Pacers with about 4 minutes left in the game. And do I think that this is news? Yes, definitely. For the upper management of the Lakers to finally give Frank Vogel the green light to do what he needs to do, quote unquote, and win games is definitely news. Like, the fact that Russ is not working out, the fact that he was benched in a close, crucial game for the Lakers is huge, man. Like, it could lead to so much more speculation and implications for the rest of this season. I mean, the trade deadline is in February, so literally like 2 or 3 weeks away. Could they make a move? I mean, now the door's open. Like, Russ is not unescapable right now. They're not all 100% in, as you can see, with the move that they made for Russell Westbrook. I don't know what they can get back for him, especially with that massive contract. But if they're able to move it and somebody takes on that contract and they can clear up some more space, who knows what the Lakers could potentially bring in or do and by the end of the trading deadline. The door now, being with Russ being benched, opens the possibilities to like what the Lakers could do next endless. It makes it just completely endless. I mean, my imagination is completely going everywhere. Like, I'm thinking, like, maybe a Karis LeVert from the Pacers that we talked about earlier and get hot any night. Somebody who can hold their own point guard wise to get the ball out of LeBron's hand a little bit more, like a De'Aaron Fox. You never know what you can get out of seeing a superstar being benched and not having media afterwards. I feel like the Lakers are going to give it a real go and try it all the way out. And Anthony Davis being back is going to help. Hopefully they can get him back before the trade deadline so that they can see what they have as a team with all the pieces together that they can have together. But I'm watching this story like it's like an old lady watching like her stories in the middle of the day. Like I'm watching this like a hawk watching a field mice. So I'm gonna be on this story. All right, guys, that's it for Hot News, Not News. Thanks for watching. When we come back, we're definitely gonna run over my final thoughts. Let's see what that is. So stay tuned. Yo, what's going on, guys? It's time for my final thoughts for the day. And I've just been running through my brain, like seeing that all the rest of the commentators talk about which quarterback do you trust the most. And they had a good one, actually. And I just could not think of my head, like, which quarterback do I trust more between Joe Burrow and Herbert, and Justin Herbert? That's a really good loaded question for me, to be honest with you. I feel that Justin Herbert has a better running game, a better offensive scheme that highlights his lack of turnovers. They have a better offensive line that keeps him upright and healthy, but their coaching staff is just stupid. I mean, I don't know what to tell you, bro. Like, the analytics that they read something different than what I read. The amount of times you go for it on fourth down, the plays that they run when they run them, it actually makes no sense to me from a mathematical standpoint. Even if the numbers give you like a better chance of, like, analytically, like, you still have to take the human error into it. So with error percentage, you have to watch out for some plays. Like, if the game's not going that way, the error percentage is going to be higher than it would if everything's working for you on offense. So, I think that the coaching staff, Zach Taylor is definitely a better coach and better system-wise, long-term for Joe Burrow than Justin Herbert has with Brandon Staley and his crazy-ass offense. But, like, talent-wise, I really do like Joe Burrow, man. Like, I think that he might not have as big of an arm as Justin Herbert, but he's deadly accurate. He's smart, and the way that he's like cool and calm under pressure. But I think that that's going to go a lot further than Justin Herbert's upsides that he has over Joe Burrow, which is probably just his athleticism, his arm strength, and and his legs. And so I think that it's literally splitting hairs between the two. But if I had to pick one, I would probably lean more towards Joe Burrow. I feel like he's worked better with less, if that makes sense. So, Joe Burrow, shout out to you. I'd rather have played the Chargers this week than I'd rather play the Bengals because Joe Burrow and Zach Taylor, the head coach. But hey, it's going to be a good game this weekend. Again, I'm excited. I had to talk about it a little bit more just to clear the air. in my own head, to say nothing, to say the least. Like, so, man. All right, guys, thanks for watching. If you made it to this far in the video, you are the MVP, man. I swear, thank you again for watching. Hey, if you haven't already, hit that like and subscribe button. Leave a comment and tell me what you think about the show. Also, I want to give a shout out to everybody in the Chism Channel organization. All of you guys know that, like, I can't do this without you. It's been fun doing it every chance that I get to do this. Man, I can't do it with nobody else. So, hey, you already know I'm your host, Jackie Chism. It's been another episode of the Chism Sports Groove, episode 19 of the CSG, if you didn't know. Hey, until we meet again, guys, y'all have a good one. Peace.
Brought to you by the Chism Channel and TCC Productions.